Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we're going to be talking a little bit about quantum drives. As you know, there are plenty of different quantum drives, especially for size 1 at the moment, since there are plenty of small ships. So I thought we'd take a look at sort of a couple of key quantum drives that I think you should consider upgrading to, or you should take note of, depending a lot on what you want your quantum drive to do, or perhaps what kind of profession you're going to be going into, because there are a lot of quantum drives, and when you first start looking into upgrading your ship systems, there's not really a lot of description given in the actual game itself on the drive, its efficiency, its speed, its range, all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to be taking a look at some key drives that I think are going to be important. I'm using Urkel to sort of get the numbers for all this, so by all means come and have a look at this yourself. But yeah, anyway, let's just get right into it and talk about a couple of the drives that I think you need to keep your eye on to upgrade to. I'm going to be using these 4 ships for comparison: the Aurora MR and the Mustang Alpha, both of which, because they are the cheapest starter ships and probably the most common ships in the verse. I'm also going to be choosing 300i and the Avenger Titan, both of which are 2 popular ships that people like to upgrade to from their Alpha or their MR, and also to sort of showcase the different quantum fuel tank sizes. But we'll start off with the MR and the Mustang Alpha. Now, in terms of quantum fuel tank size, the Alpha can hold 583 units, whereas the 300i holds 700 units. Now, I believe the MR has the same size quantum fuel tank as the Alpha, and the 300i has the same quantum fuel tank size as the Avenger Titan. So you're looking at about 117 quantum fuel tank difference between an Alpha and 300i, which conveniently is actually what I ended up doing. I upgraded my Alpha to my 300i. So let's take a look at what it comes with stock. Let's start with the Alpha actually. So the Alpha comes stock with a Rush quantum drive. Now these will all be size 1 because the ships are small, so they'll have size 1 quantum drives. And we won't worry too much about the grade. We're going to focus on a couple of main things. 1 being speed, 2 being range, and 3 being efficiency. Now Rush, as you can see, here are some of the times. 40 seconds to Daymar, 3:16 to Hurst and L3, and 8 minutes 40 to Microtech. Not bad. As you can see, sorry, in terms of speed, it's towards the top end, closer to these really fast quantum drives and some of the stealth ones here. It's getting towards the top there, so that's definitely not too bad. And these are definitely on the quicker side in terms of times. But your range here, which is what you want to look at, maximum distance in million kilometers, is 55. Now currently, we only have one system, which is the Stanton system. And I believe the longest quantum jump you can do is about 72 million kilometers. It's like from Microtech to one of the stations on the other side of the system. I believe that's the longest standard like quantum jump you can do. Of course, if you have someone who has a beacon that's further than that, then it's going to be a bigger jump. But like, you're not really going to be jumping beyond 72 million kilometers unless you're crossing systems, but maybe that's another video for another time when Pyro comes in, and then maybe this range becomes a bit more important. But I'd say anywhere above 50 is decent in terms of range. That'll get you most places without needing to refuel. I'd say anywhere from like 40 below, you're going to struggle to get to places. Like if you want to get from Port Olisar to Microtech, you're not going to be able to do it because it's 53 million kilometers. So the Alpha can only just jump from Olisar to Microtech, which means you're going to have to refuel. Whereas if we take a quick look at the 300i, if we pop in the same quantum drive, because of its bigger quantum fuel tank, it can jump 66 million kilometers, which means it can then do a smaller jump once it's got to Microtech. You don't have to refuel as much, of course. So that's the benefit of upgrading to some of these ships, the 300i and the Avenger, is if we put the same quantum drive in. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the Avenger has a smaller quantum fuel tank then. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was something different, but there you go. So yeah, maybe always double check what your quantum fuel tank is, because these stats will be different depending on what your ship is. But let's take a look at some quantum drives I'd recommend. So the first one is Lightfire. Currently it costs 26,000 alpha UEC and can be purchased at these locations. The reason I recommend this drive is because of its range here. It has the largest range out of any quantum drive. You won't find anything that's got bigger range on this. If we pop back to the Alpha, a ship with a relatively small quantum fuel tank, it can get it 119 million kilometers, which is enough to jump from Olazar to Microtech and back again with some left over. That's more than enough in terms of like needing to refill and stuff. Of course, if you hate the hassle of having to refuel, or you forget a lot of the time and you don't mind the longer times, then go for the Lightfire. But of course, you know, we've jumped from 8 minutes 40 to 13:22. That's the payoff, unfortunately, for the range, is the speed. Now, of course, this might not matter as much. I think drives like this are going to be great for touring ships. Ships like the 600i, the 890 jump, the bigger ships, the equivalent of the range, that is. Of course, in smaller ships, I don't think having that range is necessary, unless perhaps you've got something, let's say, I don't know, you've got a 300i and you're touring someone around in it, a friend, and they want to take the time getting from location to location, or you've got something to do while you're jumping. Obviously, it's going to save you a lot of money not having to refuel as often. It's going to be very efficient, but of course, you know, as long as you've got something to do during transit, then I don't see why you wouldn't go for the Lightfire. Apart from like these times are just, you know, they're a pain in the ass, of course. But yeah, I definitely recommend the Lightfire if you don't mind the waiting, the QT times, but you want to have basically the biggest range out of any quantum drive. Another great quantum drive is this one, the Atlas. The reason I chose the Atlas is because it's actually a lot better than these sort of quantum drives in the middle here. If I give you an idea, I'll pick the Expedition first. This one has a range of 60 million kilometers, but is slower than the Atlas. But the Atlas has more range and is faster, which means it's extremely efficient. So the Atlas is an upgrade from the Expedition. The Voyage here is only slightly faster, but that range is quite a decrease. It goes from 64 to 77, so you gain quite a big range with only such a small drop in speed. If we look at the times for the Atlas, to get from Olazar to Microtech, 8 minutes 58, which is the Voyage, 8:43. There's not too much difference in these long times, especially for the gain in efficiency and range. You know, this means you're going to basically jump anywhere in the system without needing to refuel. Not going to have to worry. Whereas if you're perhaps doing that really long trip that I said, that's about 72 million kilometers, and you kind of forget the range of your ship, that can be a bit of a problem. You're going to have to refuel and stuff. It's not going to happen that often, to be honest. Like I said, realistically, you're not going to jump any more than 53 million kilometers, since that's one of the greatest distances that's commonly traveled currently in Star Citizen. But yeah, I definitely recommend the Atlas because it's pretty fast. It's only slightly slower than the Voyage and the Rush kind of drives, yet you get such a massive advantage in range. So definitely have a look at getting the Atlas. This would be perfect for basically anyone if you want the nice blend of range and time, especially those perhaps who are doing cargo runs and stuff. You're going to want to drive this, going to want to get you to a destination quicker, of course, so you can make more runs, but is not going to eat away into your fuel costs. So the Atlas, definitely a good one. Obviously we have some of the stealth quantum drives, but at the moment there's not too much stealth gameplay, so I'll just ignore a lot of these at the moment. And then you've got these top 3, which aren't stealth drives, they're just normal military drives, I believe. But yeah, out of these 3, I'd recommend the Beacon. If you want pure speed, I would go for the VK00. You're just going to get the fastest time, but of course that range, maximum distance, 27 million kilometers. And while it says here 6 minutes to Microtech, this isn't unfortunately taking into account that you're going to have to drop out, land, refuel, and get back on your way, which is going to bump this time up by a couple of minutes anyway, because it's going to take you a couple of minutes to land, to refuel, faff around maybe. So while it says 6 minutes here, it's not actually going to be that much faster. You're better off going for a slower drive, but getting it done in one jump, in my opinion. But I think the beacon's a better drive, even while it's slower. It's got the best range out of the 3 fastest, 31 million kilometers here. If we check the Siren, 28, and the VK, 27. So I think this beacon is a nice sort of fast quantum drive, even though its range is still iffy. I mean, like I said, you're not going to be able to do that Port Olisar to Microtech in one jump, but at least that range is a bit more useful. I mean, that's going to get you close to Hurston and stuff. But I really wouldn't go a beacon quantum drive unless you know you're going to be operating around like a planet and its moons, for instance, quite regularly. Or if you want to be, let's say, a quick reaction sort of strike fighter. Obviously, there's not too much gameplay around with that now, but if you're in a big org and you want to move to an area really quickly to flank a fleet or something, or I don't know, you've got your friend under attack and you need to get there fast, I think the beacon quantum drive would be very good. So yeah, I'd say those are the best 3 drives at the moment, depending on what you want. The beacon, I'd go for speed. The Atlas, I'd go for sort of like the best of both worlds. And the light fire, I would go for the best range. And of course the Alpha's got one of the smallest quantum fuel tanks out of any ship. If you're looking at ships like the 300i, for example, and you pick other things, it becomes even more lucrative to pick sort of these faster ones, because like here you've got 38 million kilometers. That's a lot better. The light fire is going to be extremely good, 143 million kilometers. Chances are that's going to get you across 2, maybe even 3 systems in the future without the need to refuel. That can be very good, especially if you're trying to like just blitz through Pyro, since it's going to be a very dangerous system. You're not going to want to jump out necessarily and risk refueling. You're just going to want to go straight across the system, and hopefully you don't get interdicted. That's the only risk otherwise. So definitely having the range is something to consider. While it won't be done as fast, you're not risking jumping out and then getting attacked. I mean, we don't know how the Pyro system is going to work yet. I don't think there are going to be armistice zones, because it's a very lawless system. So maybe jump drives like the light fire will become a lot more frequently used, since people just don't want to, be refueling constantly in an area where it could get attacked. And then the Atlas becomes pretty good as well. Still got the speed, but 93 million kilometers. That is an extremely good range for a drive that is actually fairly fast. Comes standard with the Expedition, so that's an upgrade both in range and speed and efficiency. The Atlas is definitely the best drive, and I think one of the most common drives that people are going to go for at size 1. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. It's a pretty quick video. There are a lot of quantum drives here, and I think a lot of them kind of going to be ignored. I think this is why I just picked out sort of the best 3 due to the sort of factors: the fastest, the sort of one in the middle, and then the one with the best range. But yeah, let me know if you guys found that interesting. I could do, I suppose, a video on each individual quantum drive, but there's just so many. I think that unless you want to have a specific, like tailored quantum drive for a specific, very specific ship, I think one of these 3 is going to suit your ship much better than any of these other ones. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been a video just on quantum drives. I could do other things like coolers, of course, and shields and stuff. Also, go check out Urkel yourself and use it. It's pretty handy to see ship loadouts. You can see all these other stats here, damage and shields and all that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more content around Star Citizen. Anyway, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you guys later.